Okay, so just got out, and look at me, I'm still smiling. I'm actually smiling more than I ever thought I would be. Um, there was none of the things that I was worried about. This whole sort of having to start again from scratch, after having transitioned and sort of living in my role. They recognised my whole history, and I've got the first part of my surgical referral. I just got to wait for one more assessment, and then I said I can go on the waiting list for surgery. And I'm so happy and relieved, I can't tell you. Thank you, all of you, so much for putting up with my nonsense and bullshit for so long. I'm really sorry. I'm just so happy, I can't tell you. Okay, right, I'm gonna go, so I've got to go get home now, right? So peace and love. Bye. And there it was, the end of my first year out, and it's been amazing. It's been an incredible year. There's been some really difficult times. There's been some really fun and exciting times. And so I wanted to do a bit of a retrospective on it, really. Because I feel like I've learned a lot this year. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about other people, and I've had a pretty interesting insight as well into what transition in this day and age sort of looks like. So yeah, plan is to try and share some of that with you. Okay, where to start? Coming out, I suppose. We'll start from there. Now, when I say I came out a year ago, I was already out to my wife, to some families, some really close friends, most of the internet. But it was, the big one for me was obviously my sort of immediate family, my parents, brother, aunties, uncles, those sort of people. My situation is not unique, but I work with my dad in the family business, and so coming out to work and coming out to my family was kind of the same thing. And I built it up and built it up and built it up into this enormous problem, which at the time felt completely rational. There were a lot of things I was worried about. Lots of things, the way people were going to react would have implications not just on, my relationship, but obviously on my employment. And because we work together in a business, there's impacts to them as well if suddenly for some reason I was unable to work. So it got quite difficult, and I was at breaking point, to be honest, when the day came a year ago, and it was after I picked little one up from school. It was a nice sunny day, and I took little one home from school. My wife was at home with her, and I just thought, right, let's do this, and went round to go and see my mum unannounced, which immediately I think she knew something was wrong, and we had a conversation. It wasn't exactly technical, clinical, and certainly far from eloquent. I just sat and cried, and I remember quite vividly saying to her, do you like my shorts? I was wearing shorts, it was hot. She said, they're all right. I said, oh, thanks. They're a size 10 and my top's a 12. And that was it. That was that. It was kind of, from that point forward, the conversation was, it was hard, I won't lie. It was difficult. It was a lot of tears and a lot of emotion, and a lot of the things that I'm worried about were real worries. It wasn't just a rational fear in my head. But there are things that we've, we've, it's, a collective thing that have just got to be worked through. Anyway, so I came out. Now again, I'm going backwards and forwards a little bit, so bear with me. But I was already on a waiting list for the GIC. I'd been on that waiting list for about a year by the time I came out to my parents. I'd also sought private treatment for hormone therapy, but I hadn't started at this point. I was due to start imminently. I wanted to get everything out in the open before I started making, significant medical changes in my life. So that was what I did. And a few weeks, 6 weeks or so later, 8 weeks maybe, I started HRT. I'm not going to go through the whole process of that because there's another video about that. I'll see if I can put a link to it. But I can say now, which is it's probably more than 8 weeks because I'm just over 9 months on hormones now. I've never felt more like myself. That constant conflict that was in my head has gone. And that's not to say that there's no dysphoria. I think yesterday was possibly my first day in a long time where I didn't actually have a single dysphoric thought or moment. I just felt like I was unstoppable. Today's going quite well so far. We'll see. My hair's a mess, but that's not dysphoria. That's just stress about my hair. I think that's one of the things I've learned, There's a lot of stuff that sort of isn't trans stuff. It's just normal problems. Like I worry about my hair it drives me crazy. It's getting longer, but it's just horrible. I hate it. I worry about my figure, but that's normal, sort of, fairly standard body confidence stuff. I think the sort of the dysphoria stuff has definitely improved because having been able to make a full social transition, living in role, I think they call it, it's a yucky phrase. I see a lot more of myself now. When, I look in the mirror, I don't see some guy that's trying to be a girl. I see me and occasionally some of my, should we say, less feminine characteristics come through. And that's the dysphoria bit for me. Not the, am I cute enough? Am I wearing the right clothes? Have I got big enough boobs? Yeah, okay, fine. Again, body confidence stuff. But, anyway, in that time, then, in that year, I have, almost to the day, actually, it was a year minus 1 day before I had my first GIC appointment. And it went better than I could possibly imagine. I think a few people have said, and fair enough really, because I think there's still a lot of mystery around the whole GIC thing, around the process, particularly if you've not been before. It's like what to expect. But I think a couple of people have said to me that, how on earth did you manage to do that? You've done something to get through at that first appointment, to get the result, to get a surgical sign-off, first surgical sign-off, at my first appointment. Is there a secret? Is there a trick? No, there's no secret and there is no trick. I am just at that stage in my transition. So I've, in that 2 years I've been waiting, I've, made what is a social transition. I am, living in role. I'm working and I can prove that. I've done things like change my name, driving license, passport, bank accounts, and I can prove all of that. I've started hormone therapy. This is already supported by the GIC through my GP, who, after seeing evidence that I had changed my name, that I was living in role, were happy to recommend a prescription to my GP. That can happen. That is an option. So it meant that when I got to that first assessment, I'd already been through a lot of the process because I was that much further along than perhaps someone who's turning up there very early days, perhaps not, sorry, I'm going to keep saying it, I'm sorry, it's a horrible phrase, but perhaps not living in a full-time role that's right for their gender, perhaps someone who hasn't already started hormones, somebody who is there at early days, as far as even just people that are questioning their gender at that point. They're not quite in the same position that I was in. And so I think what I was very worried about before the GIC was that they weren't going to take any of my history into account. You know, the fact that I've had a life and a transition already up to this point. But that fear was immediately squashed. And the doctor I saw said to me, you know, well, to be honest, you're here for a surgical referral, aren't you? And I said, well, yeah. It's okay, cool. Well, I'm one of the signatories and I can sort that out. And from that point on, yeah, there were some difficult questions, emotionally difficult questions. The medical history stuff, it's quite complicated to remember it all, but I had a lot of it written down before I went, so that helped. I think I still missed a couple of minor bits, but I've spoken to him since. It's nothing drastic. And it was just, you know, really, it was tailored to what I needed and got me what I needed, where I needed to be. In terms of the actual experience at the place, I gotta be honest, it was just another boring, strangely quiet, actually, waiting room. I mean, bear in mind, you've got a lot of people there for pretty much the same reason. And nobody was chatting. It was really awkward silence in there. Until I turned up anyway. You can imagine, can't you? Hi! Yeah, so there was that. But no, really, it's not that daunting. It's just a few offices, sort of like doctors' offices, and a boring grey waiting room with some chairs and some, I think it was out-of-date Kew Gardens magazine, you know. I'm going to take them some copies of some more interesting stuff. You know, a couple of issues of Vogue wouldn't go amiss, girls, but by the by. But all in all, yeah, apart from the sort of the insanely long wait to get to that point, which I've done a video about this, and I think the wait was actually quite beneficial because it meant that when I got there, I ticked a lot of their boxes before I'd got there. But apart from that, you know, I don't think there is some sort of mysterious agenda behind it. I don't think they're trying to stop people from transitioning. I don't think they want to do anything other than follow a process that's right for the individual. But anyway, that's just my take on it. I'd be happy to talk about any of my experiences through that process. If you think it'd help, just drop me a note below and I'll be happy to talk about it. I mean, yeah, this year, God, what a year. And I've done all of the stuff. I've had, you know, the work experience, the family events, birthdays, Christmases, holidays, you know, going away, swimming. Swimming was hard. I'll do a post about that at some point as well, but I went swimming and, you know, turns out it's actually okay. You've just got to be in the right headspace to do it. The gym, same thing. Yeah, tight clothes, but, you know, you're there to work out. Just get on with it. This last year has taught me, if anything, that I have the power within me to take back control of my life, that I don't have to hang around for someone to validate it. I don't have to hang around for someone to tell me what to do next. I just need to get on, live as myself, to be who I am. Single best piece of advice I've been given, and I've been given it time and time and time again, and it took me until, well, basically until now to realise it. This entire process isn't about being something that I'm not. It's not about meeting some requirement, ticking some box. It's just about me being true to myself and being myself. You know, all the hormones and the voice therapy and the laser and the everything, they all help me recognise, or I suppose express, show the rest of the world parts of who I am in the way that I would like them to. But it doesn't make me any more myself. So yeah, what a year. It's been amazing. I got told I've got to wait probably 6 to 9 months for a second appointment, and as long as I'm, you know, staying healthy, they don't see any reason that wouldn't be signed off, and then that's it. I'm on the surgical waiting list, which is, sorry, I'm on the surgical waiting list. And, you know, that's, I'm sorry. It's amazing. I think it's more than just like, yay, I'm getting a vagina, you know, which is, yay, I'm getting a vagina, it's amazing. But I think that now that I've been there and I've been to the GIC and I know that this is really happening for me, someone who understands these things better than I do, someone who understands, you know, gender issues better than I do, I said, well, look at you, you're a woman, let's get you what you need, you know, let's get your body in line with that. And for the first time, I just feel like I'm enough, you know, like I don't need to try any harder to be me. That just being honest and authentic and being myself is enough. Right. Sorry. Okay. You lot. I wouldn't be here without you lot. I've got some incredible friends and they've all done so much for me. Kate and Liz especially, I'll always hold a special place for you in my heart. I wouldn't be here without either of you. It's so important to have people, to have this amazing community. I feel so lucky to be part of this amazing community. I've never known a group of people who are so kind and supportive from, you know, day one, start to finish. It's a special thing we've all got, and I for one feel very lucky to be associated with some wonderful people and to have you here supporting me. So thank you. I wouldn't be here without you. What's next? Well, it's back to the waiting game for a bit, but you know what? This time I'm looking at it with more than just, you know, hope. It's a real future. There is a real future. There is a light at the end. And for now anyway, that's enough to keep me going. Sorry, my voice is going horrible. I'm really sorry. Hang on. Oh yeah, if I could give you one piece of advice, drink loads of water. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for continuing to put up with my rambling and my nonsense and my gibbering and my opinionation and clearly my massive self-obsession. I do really appreciate all your feedback, all the comments, the likes, and like I say, guys, the support has just been overwhelming, so thank you so much. Speak to you soon, I hope. Guess that's me signing off. So peace and love, and see you soon. Bye.